Love is the thing that binds us and transforms us, and I'm an eyewitness to it. Because I fell in love for the first time when I was in the 5th grade, and I ain't pulling your leg. No, I fell in love. I know you don't think a 5th grader can fall in love. You ask these 5th graders around here, they tell you they fall in love. I fell in love. I was in the 5th grade. Mama wanted me to go to school with some clean clothes on, and I didn't care. And she wanted me to look pretty, and I didn't care because I hated school. And she dropped me out at the curb on the first day of the 5th grade, and then she hung around and watched because she knew I wouldn't go in the front door. I'd play hooky. That's what I did. I hated school. First grade teacher whacked me in the middle of the head with a big fat first grade pencil and chewed me out. And from the 1st grade to the 5th grade, I hated school. Can't remember teachers' names until the 5th grade. And I turned around, Mom was still watching, and I had to go in the doors. And when I finally went in the doors and found my classroom, I went to the very back row by the windows, and I sat there in the back chair looking out the windows waiting for the first class to start, and the tardy bell rang, and finally the kids got quiet, and I kept watching outside. And then this teacher's voice that I didn't recognize said, "Hello, class. I'm new in your school this year, so I'm going to count on you to help me find my way around. And I'm going to give us a break in just a moment before the bell even rings, and you take a little break, and when you come back in, I'm going to let all of you choose the seat you sit in instead of assigning seats, and trust you this year to sit where you want to, and to not be, noisy or unruly, and to get along okay in here, and we're going to have a good year." And I thought, well, that voice sounds sweet, and she's going to let us choose our seat? Because most teachers assigned them in my little ghetto school. West Dallas, a mile from downtown, we were ghetto. And so I turned around to see what crazy teacher was going to let us sit wherever we wanted to. And there was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen in my life. Miss Carstarfin. She turned around and wrote on the board, and I saw her lovely dark hair, her lovely shape, and she wrote Miss, M-I-S-S. Miss, there's hope. Carstarfin, Carpenter, Carstarfin. We already have something in common. Man, when she turned around, had big pearly white teeth, surrounded by gorgeous, luscious red lips, she was so pretty. I fell in love with Miss Carstarfin's sweet voice. And as soon as she said, "Okay, y'all take a quiet break now in the hallway, be real quiet because the bell hasn't rung, and let me go out a little early. When you come back in, rearrange, sit wherever you want to sit. I'm going to trust you. I promise you." I could not wait for the kid in the front row right by her desk to get up so I could slip right in behind him, flop down through my stuff right there. This was my seat right across from Miss Carter. I could reach over and touch her. And that's where I sit. I fell in love with that woman, and she fell in love with me. And we had a secret love for each other that we couldn't tell my parents about. And when open house came, she caught my mother in front of all the other parents, and she put her arm around my mother. "Oh, I have been dying to meet Danny's parents. I just love your son." I actually was nervous that she might tell her how much we loved each other, because in my brain I had already asked her to marry me when I got out of school, and she had already said, "Well, of course I'll wait." And nothing like that happened, so I was safe. But my mother turned to Miss Carstarfin at one point and said, "I don't know what you've done to my son, but he is like a new person. The old boy has left, I don't even recognize this one sometimes. And now I'm embarrassed. I'm thinking, shut up. Please, say nothing else. I mean, he can't wait to get to school. Hey, don't overdo it. He lays his own clothes out to make sure he has something to match. Believe it or not, back in those days, we actually liked our clothing to look like there was some forethought to it. Unlike your little nerds around here who have no taste or style. It's whatever they grab, they throw on. Sure, blue goes with green, yeah. I liked, if I had on a green shirt, I wanted my socks to be green. My pants might have some green somewhere in them. I'd make sure every evening that I had things that would go together. I'd get them out and lay them on the floor so that if I didn't have something look right, I could fuss at my mother. Where's my shirt that goes with these pants? I gotta have it. And my mother, God love her, would fix something that evening so I could look right the next day. And now she's standing there blabbing all this to the teacher. Sandy and I came across my 5th grade report card a few years ago, cleaning some stuff out. I hated school the first 4 years. It was a pathetic experience. And we were cleaning some old things, going through some old boxes, and came across, I don't know if I found it first or she did, I think she might have found it, and said, this is a 5th grade report card. I said, oh my God, let me see it. Because it was Mr. Hartstark's signature on the card. I held that card in my hand and I took a trip down memory lane. Straight A's for the first time ever. Every class, back in those days in 5th grade, I don't know how they do it now, but you had one teacher for all subjects in the 5th grade. So social studies, English, everything was Mr. Hartstark. A. And then they'd give your personal behavior, A. Classroom conduct, A. Gets along well with others, A. Is going to marry the teacher. They didn't put that on there, but man. And so my mom, is, I don't know where that other boy went. You have transformed my son. And indeed she has. And toward the end of the year, she got up front of class one day and said, well, boys and girls, I have an announcement to make. And we're all like, and I'm right here. And then she held up her hand. She said, I don't know if you know what this means or not, but it means I'm engaged. And I didn't give it to her. And I'm telling you, in the 5th grade, if you don't think a 5th grader has a heart that can be broken, you don't know. My heart I started slumping down in the chair. How could she do this to me? This is a cruel way to tell me we're not getting married. It's just the wrong way from the class. Everybody's going to make fun of me because I bet everybody knows. Sure enough, she let us know she would not be returning next year because she was marrying some rich cat that was going to be her sugar daddy and take care of her. Slob forever. And I learned such a valuable lesson. Such a valuable lesson. I look back on it still to this day at 63 years of age and just retelling you the story. It only comes out with one theme to me, and that is how powerful love is in transforming us, in birthing us into a new existence, in changing us completely. This is why John could write something that people take such a liberal statement from John. You can't make theology out of it. Yes, you can. John knew exactly what he was writing when he said, and everyone who loves is born of God. Transforming. What he's trying to say is, I'll tell you a better way to become a new creature in Christ than studying theology and signing a church card. Fall in love with Christ, and you will be transformed into a new creature.